You feel it deep in your chest, don't you? That ache, that heaviness, that frustrating stillness that makes it seem like your life is frozen while the world races ahead. You watch people move forward, take flight, achieve dreams, build families, sign contracts, cross finish lines, and you're still here, stuck. Or at least, that's how it feels. You've prayed until your voice trembled. You've cried until your pillow was soaked. You've done the work, kept the faith, whispered Ya Allah into the night more times than you can count. Yet the doors stay closed. The path remains blocked. The silence feels endless. But here's what no one tells you in these moments. What feels like being stuck is actually sacred preparation. You are not frozen. You are not forgotten. You are being pulled back, not to be held down, but to be launched. Because just like a master archer draws the arrow deep into the bow before release, Allah is stretching you, pulling you through pain, pressing you through patience, not to break you, but to build you. If the arrow isn't pulled back, it cannot fly. And if it's released too soon, it falls short of its mark. The deeper the pull, the farther the flight. So this tension in your soul, this divine delay, it's not a punishment. It's the calibration of your destiny. Allah sees what you can't. He knows what's ahead. He knows the pressure waiting at the peak of the mountain you're meant to climb. And He loves you too much to let you ascend unprepared. If He opened that door now, if He gave you that dream today, it might crush you. You might walk into a blessing your character isn't yet ready to protect. You might step into a spotlight your soul hasn't been trained to survive. That's why you're here. That's why it hurts. Because Allah is not planning just your movement. He's planning your flight. And flight requires more than just wings. It demands strength, resilience, surrender. It demands a heart that knows how to trust when all logic screams, give up. You feel forgotten, but you are deeply remembered. You feel delayed, but you are divinely aligned. You feel like you're behind, but Allah is simply building your momentum in private. And when the moment comes, when the pull has reached its peak, when the foundation is laid deep in Sabr and Tawakkul, Allah will whisper, now. And in that instant, you won't just move forward. You'll soar so high, so suddenly, so powerfully, that even you will be shocked by the beauty and speed of the journey. You'll look back and realize the stillness wasn't wasted. The silence wasn't empty. The pain wasn't pointless. It was all preparing you for a breakthrough only heaven could orchestrate. So hold tight, stay grounded. The arrow always flies fastest after the greatest tension. And when it does, no one, not even you, will be able to deny that only Allah could have written a rise like this. You look around and everything feels quiet. Too quiet. Days blend into nights, and nothing seems to change. No signs, no clarity, just silence. You wonder if your prayers are being ignored, if your du'as are falling flat, if maybe, just maybe, you're not worthy of a response. But the truth is, silence is not a void, it's a veil. And behind that veil, Allah is working in ways so intricate, so profound, that your heart wouldn't be able to comprehend it, even if you saw it all unfold at once. The world may be silent, but the heavens are not. Allah is not absent in your silence. He is most present. He is closest. You're not being punished. You're being protected. You're not being neglected. You're being nurtured. Because some of the most powerful transformations happen quietly. Think of the seed. When it's buried deep in the earth, it is surrounded by darkness, pressed into silence, with no audience, no celebration, no visible progress. But within that silence, it is growing roots, deep, strong, hidden foundations that will one day hold up something beautiful. And when it finally breaks through the surface, people will admire the bloom. but they will never understand the power of what grew in the dark. That's what's happening to you. You're in your underground phase, your sacred silence. If Allah revealed you too early, the world would mislabel you, misuse you, mishandle you. They would force you into boxes your soul was never meant to fit. So instead, Allah hides you. He shields your spirit while He strengthens it. He draws you away from distractions, away from the noise, away from the illusions, so He can work on your heart without interruption. Greatness doesn't grow in chaos. It grows in quiet. And when you're finally ready, when your intentions are pure, when your heart beats with sincerity instead of desperation, Allah will unveil you. He will bring you forward in a way that no man can deny, no envy can stop, no competitor can outshine. Because your moment will not be powered by hustle, it will be powered by divine will. And divine timing never arrives a second too late. So if your life feels paused right now, know this. Pauses are not endings, they're alignments. Allah is not trying to delay your story. He's making sure it's written in a way that will last, a way that will leave behind more than just fleeting applause, but a legacy that whispers of His mercy for generations to come. So breathe, be still, and let the silence build you. Because when Allah finally breaks it open, the sound of your rise will echo louder than any silence that ever tried to convince you He had forgotten. It's a strange kind of ache, isn't it? Watching others shine while you feel invisible. You scroll through your phone and see announcement after announcement, engagements, new jobs, glowing promotions, travel adventures, perfect smiles with perfect captions. It's everywhere. Everyone seems to be living the life you once dreamed of, and part of you celebrates them, truly. But another part quietly wonders, what about me? You question if you're falling behind, if you missed something along the way, if maybe, just maybe, you weren't chosen for the kind of success everyone else seems to be walking into. But what you're seeing isn't the whole story. You're witnessing highlight reels, not heartaches. You're seeing the shine, not the struggle it took to get there. Or worse, the struggle that still exists beneath the surface, but is hidden behind filters and rehearsed smiles. The truth is, some people shine early but fade quickly. Some sparkle in the light but collapse under pressure. That's not what Allah wants for you. He's not preparing you for a moment of applause. He's preparing you for a life of purpose. And that kind of preparation is slow. It's quiet. It's painful. But it's perfect. You are not being punished. You are being polished. Allah, in His deep love and mercy, is refining your soul like a diamond, one edge at a time. He's softening the places in you that would have shattered under pressure. He's smoothing out pride, insecurity, fear, and impatience, so that when you do rise, and you will, it will be with the kind of strength that doesn't break under burden. He's teaching you to endure in silence, to be sincere in solitude, to trust without applause. Because if you learn to hold on now, when no one is watching, you'll be ready to carry blessings that come with weight, and not just survive them, but thrive with them. The patience you're building now isn't wasted. It's essential. The discipline, the quiet sacrifices, the nights you cry and no one knows about, they're not moments of weakness. They are moments of divine craftsmanship. Allah is shaping you not just to shine, but to illuminate. And when you finally rise, it won't be with hollow confidence or fleeting charm. It will be with real substance, a soul forged in stillness, a heart trained in sincerity, and people will see the strength in your light. Not the flash, but the fire behind it, the warmth in it, the truth of it, and they will know. This is not someone who stumbled into success. This is someone who was built for it. So no, you are not being left behind. You are being trusted with time. Time to grow, time to be polished, Time to become someone whose light will never dim, because it was lit by the one who never fades. You look at your life, and all you can see is empty space. No blooms, no fruit, no signs of visible growth. It's easy to think you're barren, that nothing's working, that your time has passed. But what if I told you that you're not barren, you're buried, like a seed, hidden, unseen, deep in the earth. And just like that seed, your silence isn't proof of nothingness, it's proof of rooting. Before any tree touches the sky, before it blooms with fruit or flowers, it must first dig downward, planting itself deep into the ground. Why? Because if the roots aren't strong, the first storm will rip it out by the base. That's what Allah is doing with you right now. He is not denying your growth. He is deepening it. He is rooting you so that when you rise you won't be shaken, so that when you bloom you won't break. The dreams you asked for, the ones you whispered in sujood with trembling lips, they're not denied. They're being planted, watered, protected. Every tear you've cried in private, every heartbreak you've survived without recognition, every act of patience when it felt easier to walk away, those are not invisible. They are watering your roots. And roots don't grow in public. They grow in the unseen, in the dark, in silence. But they are what hold everything together when the storm comes. Allah knows that giving you the fruit before the root would destroy you. The attention would overwhelm you. The success would outgrow your character. The platform would crush your peace. And because He loves you, He's not rushing your bloom. He's anchoring it. And when the time is right, not a moment sooner, not a second late, you will break through the surface with strength and grace that no one will be able to ignore. And it will feel natural, effortless even, but only you, and the one who formed you in the dark, will know what it cost. Only you will remember the nights you almost gave up, the days you questioned your worth, the seasons of loneliness that felt like endless winter. But when the flowers come, when the fruit appears, it will feed more than just you. It will be nourishment for others, a testimony of what Allah can do with someone who trusted Him in the silence. So hold on. Don't dig up what you've planted just because you haven't seen results yet. Don't abandon your garden because the roots are still growing. Stay grounded, stay patient, stay faithful. Because what's coming isn't ordinary. What's coming will be so sweet, so full, so lasting, that generations after you will taste the fruit of your prayers. And they'll know, this tree grew not in sunlight, but in secret. It was watered by Sabr, fed with faith, and guarded by the one who never forgets. You asked for something beautiful. You asked for something sacred. You asked for it with sincerity, with aching faith, in moments of sujood, where your forehead kissed the ground and your heart whispered, Ya Allah, please. And you believed. You believed that the one who hears all would surely hear you too. But the days passed, and the answer didn't come. You waited for a door to open, but instead you found more walls. You hoped for light, but the shadows deepened. And now you wonder, was I asking for too much? Was I expecting more than I deserved? Maybe Allah didn't want this for me at all. But what you don't see is that while you were asking for something good, Allah was preparing something greater. You were asking for a stream. He was planning an ocean. And oceans require vessels far bigger than you imagined. So He didn't say no. He said, not yet. Not until you can carry what you're asking for. Not until your heart is stretched wide enough to hold it without breaking. That's what this pressure is. That's what this weight is. Allah is not ignoring you. He's enlarging you. He's stretching your soul, your faith, your capacity. Because what He's preparing for you isn't small. It's not something you'll receive and then lose. It's something that will last. Something that will elevate not just your life, but the lives of those who come after you. You thought you were being delayed, but really, you're being upgraded. If He gave it to you now, it might slip through your fingers. Your heart might not be able to protect it. Your soul might not be strong enough to steward it. You see the tip of the iceberg, but he sees the storm that's coming with it. And he loves you too much to throw you into a blessing that your character hasn't been trained to guard. Maybe you asked for marriage, and what you wanted was love. But what he wants for you is a union built on mercy, rooted in faith, a bond that reflects the tranquility of Jannah, not the illusion of the dunya. Maybe you asked for success, and you dreamed of wealth, but he wants to give you barakah, blessings that don't just look good on the outside, but nourish your soul on the inside. Maybe you asked for healing, just enough to get through today, but he wants to heal you deeply, entirely, so that the wound no longer defines you at all. That's why it's heavy. That's why it's slow. That's why you feel like you're breaking. You're not. You're expanding. He's turning you into a vessel that can carry something so extraordinary, so pure, so perfectly designed for you, that when it finally comes, it won't just make you say Alhamdulillah, it will make you weep in awe, realizing that every second of waiting, every tear, every unanswered dua was actually being answered in the most breathtaking way. So don't pull back, don't shrink, don't curse the stretch. It's making room for something so divine that when it arrives, it won't fit into the small version of you who first asked for it. Allah is not making you wait to hurt you. He's making you wait to prepare you for something so beautiful that when it comes, you'll finally understand why it had to take this long. You look back at your life and you see all the times the door slammed shut, the job you wanted slipped away, the relationship you were sure would last fell apart, the opportunity that felt like it was meant for you vanished before your eyes. And you sat there, quietly heartbroken, confused, asking yourself, why would Allah let me get so close only to lose it? Wasn't that the answer I was praying for? But what you don't see is what he saw. He saw that job pulling you away from your deen. He saw that relationship slowly unraveling your self-worth. He saw that opportunity destroying your inner peace long before it ever bore fruit. Sometimes what you think is a blessing is actually a burden in disguise. And in his mercy, not his neglect, Allah removes it from your path, not to punish you, but to protect you. Some rejections are not rejections, they are redirections. Some delays are not delays, they are divine shields. Allah sees the cracks hidden behind the charm. He sees the consequences you would have suffered if he had let you have what you wanted in the moment. And so, with love, he says no. Or more accurately, he says, I have better. But when you're in the middle of it, when you're grieving something you hoped for so deeply, it doesn't feel like love. It feels like loss. It feels like the world has closed its arms around you and turned cold. But that's only because you haven't yet seen what you were saved from. You haven't yet reached what's waiting ahead. There are blessings that Allah had to block for the sake of your soul. There are people he had to remove so your heart wouldn't break deeper later. There are paths he had to close so you wouldn't walk into a fire disguised as a doorway. And you will thank him, not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day you will look back and say, Alhamdulillah for every closed door, for every unanswered dua, for every heartbreak I didn't understand. Because if I had received what I asked for then, I would have missed the mercy that came after. When you feel like everything is falling apart, it may be because he's tearing down what would have destroyed you. Not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear the path. And sometimes Allah doesn't just withhold, he removes. He doesn't just delay, he protects. You are not being overlooked, you are being guarded. Not because you're unworthy, but because you're too precious to be handed over to something that will eventually rob you of your peace, your faith, your purpose. So every no, every silence, every rejection, accept it with trust. Trust that the one who wrote your story knows which chapters needed to end before they could destroy your entire book. One day, you will look around at what you've been given, and you'll see that every door that shut, every plan that failed, every person who left, was actually clearing the way for something you never knew you needed, but now you'll never want to live without. That is the mercy of Allah. That is the divine protection you didn't even know to ask for. You had a plan, a clear, detailed, hopeful timeline. By this age, I'll graduate. By this age, I'll be married. By this age, I'll have children, a career, a home, stability. You mapped out your life with the confidence of someone who truly believed in effort, in order, in reward. And then life happened. Detours came. Timelines shifted. Doors that were supposed to open remained shut. People you thought would stay disappeared. And now you look at where you are, and you feel off track, behind, uncertain. You scroll through social media and see others living the life you thought would be yours by now. And that little whisper creeps in. You're failing. You're forgotten. You've fallen behind. But let me tell you something your soul needs to hear. You haven't fallen behind. You've been taken off the map for a reason. Allah didn't let your plans crumble to embarrass you. He let them fall so He could rebuild something far more meaningful. You were chasing what was predictable. He is writing what is miraculous. While others walk straight paths that are easy to explain, Allah has placed you on a path that's harder, deeper, richer, one that no one will understand until the story is complete. And when they see it, when they see you rise, after all the detours, all the delays, all the loneliness, they won't say, "You're successful." They'll say, "Only Allah could have done this." Your story won't be neat. It won't follow the rules of the world. It will be marked by moments where you thought it was over, moments where you were sure you'd been left behind. But every twist, every heartbreak, every silence was a chapter necessary to build the kind of soul that wouldn't just succeed, but leave a legacy. You weren't made for surface-level victories. You were made to shake hearts, to remind people of what faith looks like when everything else fails. Your timeline was disrupted because what you're carrying is too sacred to fit inside conventional schedules. Allah is not just writing a story for you. He's writing a story through you. A story that others will read with tears in their eyes, saying, "If Allah could do that for them, maybe He hasn't forgotten me either." So no, you're not broken. You're not behind. You are the miracle in progress, the silent testimony of divine timing, the sacred example that Allah writes the best stories through the souls who trusted Him when nothing made sense. And when He finally brings you into the light, not even the deepest doubt you once had will be able to deny that your journey was never about getting back on the world's timeline. It was about discovering the divine one that was always written for you, one that would end not in applause, but in awe.